Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dear students. Welcome to my YouTube channel Education for All. And I am your teacher Maria Maman. And today I am here with 9th class biology book. And today we will discuss biological problem, hypothesis, deduction, experiment, result, and finally we will discuss conclusion. So let's start our today's lecture. So dear students, in my previous lecture, I had told you about the biological problem. What is biological problem? Biological problem is the set of questions to be solved, but it must be related to the biology. So here for biological problem and its process, for the solvation, we take malaria as an example. So, dear students, in previous time, malaria was a big problem. In old days, people thought that malaria is caused by the bad air, as the word malaria is taken from Latin word mela means bed and area means air. So people thought that people living near the bad air, bad environment only contains the malaria, and bad air, bad atmosphere was the only reason of malaria. But some people become against this idea and they said that malaria was not due to the bad air, but there is another reason of malaria. So it becomes a big biological problem on that time. Now it has to solve. Now, dear students, let's start a stepwise method to solve this malarial problem as an example. So dear students, I have told you that observation is the first step of biological research. What is observation? It is to identify the reason of the problem, followed by the formulation of question about what has been observed. An observation is the statement of knowledge gained through the senses. It is known as qualitative or through the use of scientific equipment, or it is known as quantitative observation. So there are two kinds of observations. First is the qualitative by senses and quantitative by the scientific equipments. Both the methods are shown here in the figure 2.2. So let's move ahead. In case of malaria, how observation was made? In 1880, a French physician named Levron studied the blood of a malarial patient, and what he saw there? He saw some tiny microscopic creature and named them Plasmodium. So it was the observation of malarial patient, and in case of malaria it was a new observation. And here what came? Plasmodium came here. Now second step is the hypothesis. So dear students, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is the intelligent guess. Hypothesis is in the form of statement and can be true or can be false, and it is testable. Hypothesis is testable with the help of experiment. For example, in case of malaria, it was only hypothesis but not confirmed that Plasmodium is the cause of malaria. Now the hypothesis is to be tested. Then we move towards the next step, that is reasoning. What is reasoning? Dear students, reasoning limitify and simplify the research. There are two types of reasoning: inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning moves from specific to general. For example, shark is a fish. All fishes have scales, therefore sharks also have scales. So it is the simplification. And what is deductive reasoning? Moves from general to specific. For this deductive reasoning, all the malarial patient must have the plasmodium. So it is deductive reasoning because it moves from general to specific. Now we move towards the experiment. So dear students, experiment proves the hypothesis that it is correct or wrong. Means experiment can support or can reject the hypothesis. So here are some scientists which are performing experiments to prove the hypothesis. In case of malaria, how the experiment was performed? The scientists performed two tests, two groups. One is known as control, which contain the healthy persons, and other experimental group which contain the malarial patients. And the scientists took the samples from both the groups and observed under the microscope, and what they saw that only the blood of malarial patients contained the plasmodium. So it was the experiment proving that only the malarial patients contain the plasmodium and suffering from the malaria, while other group, that is known as control group, is completely free from the plasmodium. So it was the experiment. After the experiment, here comes the result. Result is the whole report, what happened in the experiment. It is a detailed about the data, about the observations on the whole, how many samples and how many malarial patients and how many the peoples were normal. So these are the results, and after results in research, conclusion is made. This is where all the results from the experiments are analyzed and determination is reached about the hypothesis. And if your hypothesis was supported, it's great. If not, repeat the experiment or think of other ways to improve your procedure. So, dear students, it is the conclusion which makes the decision about the research and about the problem. For example, in case of malaria, scientists concluded that plasmodium is the cause of malaria. So, dear students, here my lecture complete, and hope you understand my lecture. And if there is any question related to this lecture, you can ask in the comment section, and inshallah in our next lecture we will discuss theory, law and principle. Till then, stay tuned with education for all, and do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks.